Hi, everybody. I just wanted to just explain something. I met Phil Collins doing a Lee Ritenour album back, I think, around 1980. And Phil asked me if I could come and work with him on his first tour, which I believe was around 81 or 2 after he had finished Face Value. And at the time, I was doing a James Taylor tour, so I had to say no, I can't do it. But there's nothing I would love better than to get a chance to work with you. We were both aware of each other. I knew him through Genesis and Brand X, and he knew me through James and different projects. He called me again in 1984 and asked if I could come to London and do the No Jacket album with him, and I said absolutely. And landed with bells on, and it was such a delight to be in the studio with this guy. And then the following year was when we toured No Jacket. When the tour started, it was not a big tour, but once Sussudio was released, it became this kind of global, monstrous hit phenomenon. We had to kind of rethink the touring because the small theaters we were going to be playing were not going to be adequate for what was happening. And we moved on. Now, from that period all the way up through the first final farewell tour, almost so many of the reviews of Phil's shows were so terrible. I mean, they would attack him personally. Say he's like the Cabbage Patch Kid of rock, and all this razzmatazz for something so shallow and meaningless about his music. And I mean, it was really quite beyond belief what he had to endure. And he's one of those kind of guys who would read the reviews and he would take them to heart and get really bummed about it. On occasion, he went and wrote back to these people. But I remember so many times I would sit, in his room with him and talk, and we would talk. And I'd say, look, we just finished playing for, 20,000 people in an arena, or whatever. And I said, they were going completely crazy. They didn't want you to leave even after several encores. They wanted more and more. They were just going nuts and thumbs up and just cheering as like crazy. And I said, that's the review. That's the review, not some douchebag who even got the set wrong. So chances are they probably weren't even at the show, or they stayed for a song and then split. And they're usually some kind of an ex-frustrated musician who's had no success whatsoever. And they got this gig doing this, working for some rag. But I would say, look, at the review is the audience. They're telling you, I mean, if you finish a show and they're booing and throwing crap at you, chances are that's a bad review and you better rethink things. But the effort that always went into Phil's shows, every single show, every single nuance of it, always made for an amazing, amazing show. And in my entire history with Phil, he, I think, only ever had to cancel 2 shows. He would go out under the most difficult physical situations with a sickness or something like that, and put on a monstrous show. He has that work ethic that's just remarkable. And when the ones he canceled, literally, if he would be standing there going, I can't, my throat's gone, and there's nothing you can do at that point. And we had to do it, and it was disappointing, and he found it incredibly distressing to have to do that. With the recent tour that we did, suddenly now he's kind of one of the elder statesmen of rock. So they're giving nothing but glowing reviews of him. But the point of this story is he would sit there and read these reviews by some complete asshole who didn't get it. And he would take it to heart. And I would say, don't do this. Don't let it affect you. It's the audience that counts. And with all of my great words of wisdom to Phil, I found myself falling into the same fucking trap. Jesus, every night I enjoy reading all the comments that people post on the different videos and things they want me to do, different songs that they love. They were hoping this song would be there and blah, blah, blah. And then I come to, a bunch of things saying that your fans are telling you how much, they love you and you seem to be ignoring them. You're just pathetic. Or some guy said you're just a money grubber, you just go fuck yourself and all this. And I actually started to take it to heart. And then I read so many other things where people are writing, that 99.9% of everybody here is here because they're enjoying it. Now, the site started for me. This has all been so weird and surreal. I never expected to have a channel. I was posting a couple of videos and suddenly it became a channel. And I'm not sure how that happened. But there was bass players that had asked me about bass lines for like some of Phil's songs. And so that's when I started to post the songs, but posting with playing my bass along with it so they could actually hear all the notes of the bass, because the mix that I'm putting out on all these things is an aberrant mix. I would never want the bass this loud on anything I worked on, but I'm doing this to give as more of a tutorial about the bass parts that I'm doing on these songs. But certainly if I was doing something with that song, man, I would tuck the bass way back down in the mix with the drums and everything, and it'd be a whole different perspective. But so it really started of me just wanting to show off these parts, and all of a sudden, the site took on a life of its own, and I'm completely still floored by the response to it, and I am humbled and honored by it. And somebody, when they say like, I don't respond, I mean, I know in lots of the videos I've said, man, you guys are the best, thank you so much. And I'm just going to reiterate that if it wasn't for everybody joining me here, I'd just be sitting here like a schmuck talking to my phone. And I think then the guys in the white coats would probably come and get me, but they couldn't because they'd have to stay 6 feet away. But I get my Hannibal Lecter mask on, just put a thing on like that. But I so appreciate everybody that's here. I love the comments. I love the enthusiasm that people have had. I've had people sending me pictures of their family sitting at dinner, watching my video on TV while they're eating dinner, with their dog sitting there watching the computer and stuff. So as far as the people that are throwing out the crap at me, I didn't want this to turn into like a Facebook situation. On Facebook, I have blocked so many people because on Facebook, I'm constantly being blocked on Facebook, thrown off of Facebook, usually an average of 150 days a year. I get death threats on Facebook, people writing in going, we know where you're touring, we're going to come get you, kind of stuff. When you finish your Ovaltine in the basement with your jammies on while you're playing some crap video game, yeah, you're going to come get me. I'm shaking in my boots. But I've ended up having to block a ton of people on Facebook. I mean, and it looks like a lot, but there's a lot of people on my page because I've always wanted to interact with people. That's one of the things I've always enjoyed. When I'm on the road, I go outside the hall and talk to people waiting in line when we were doing big sheds and there's a big lawn and all that. I go out and sit with people on their blankets and meet people. And there's people I've met years ago that we're still in touch. And every year when we're on the road, we hook up and see the family, watch the kids grow up. And I love that aspect of it. And so I try to leave everything public. But of course, by leaving it public, you open the door to the lunatic fringe. And I understand that when people are saying, don't let them get you down, they really don't get me down because I recognize the source from where all of this stuff comes. And I really am doing this because it seems like it's touching people and it's touching me. It gives me purpose every day have an adventure, to dig through archival stuff that I haven't thought about in years. And it takes time. I mean, I haven't had a chart for one song that I've played on this thing. I'm just digging back in, running it a couple of times beforehand just to try to get my head wrapped around it, and then do it, mistakes and all. I just like, I don't rehearse my spontaneity. But these people that just don't get it, like the ones who seem to think that when I decided just to start this Clubhouse thing for just something else, because I know so many people that are doing live streaming and they have sites and all that for it. And I go to their sites and I've signed up on their sites, and I love going and hanging out and sending them questions and stuff. But these people, and it wasn't ever going to change this channel. This channel is always going to be just subscribe and we're here. I'm not, charging anything for this, but these people suddenly, went berserk over this, like I'm some kind of Horace Greeley, money grubber here. And I'm thinking, even because we're experimenting, I don't know if this is going to work. There's a bunch of people that have signed up, and I can't wait to talk to all of you. My first live stream is next week, and I've never done a live stream, so I'm really excited about it. Like the first time I did a bass clinic, I had no idea what I was getting into, but it turned out great, and I enjoyed it. And my favorite thing is question and answer. So please, when we're doing this, ask me anything you want. Ask questions, and I'm happy to answer whatever I can on this. And then the ones that one guy wrote, $75 just to talk to you, you what a fucking ripoff, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, if you went to talk, if somebody actually has a serious question, they went to talk to their lawyer or accountant or doctor or something, and you're looking at, with a lawyer, you could be paying $500 an hour for a really good lawyer. If you have somebody come and do some, and these people that, it's just beyond my comprehension. So like Facebook, at this point, as soon as I start seeing these knuckleheads, I know that there's the setting for blocking, and I'm completely hesitant about using that. But there are certain people that are earning that I want to keep this a really positive site that can keep growing with requests and stuff. And as things maybe calm down with the pandemic, then I can go out, maybe bring some other folks over. I could sit here with Waddy Wachtel and we could do a video together for you guys. Or I could get them over for the live streaming, and people could ask questions of whoever I have over, and I can take this on the road and film. Right now we're all locked down, and this is my world, is this room. So there's really not much beyond this that I'm able to do. But more than anything, I just want to say I absolutely love this opportunity to do things with people. I wish we could interact here. I could meet everybody. It's cool, and this is the thing I've always loved in music, is the relationship with people. And some guy wrote, he said, this is really getting like ridiculous. He says he just talks nice about everybody. There's got to be dirt. And so, and to be completely honest with you, yes, there has been some dark stuff. But the dark stuff that's happened in my career is like the morons that come on here and mess with this site. 99.9% of everything I've been involved with in this profession has been cool. I've had very little issues with musicians or producers. Most of the issues I've had have been with somebody who like rips you off like that. I mean, when we hit the road, there's always going to be, times, especially when you do long tours, people get on each other's nerves, and there's stress and anxiety. You're away from home, you're away from stuff, little things like if you enjoy driving and suddenly you're sitting in a bus for 6 months and not driving ever, you get frustrated. You just want to get out and hit the road and be on your own. So, but I'm not going to use this forum. This is more to talk about music and stuff. I'm not going to sit here and pull out the rag sheet. And that's one of the reasons I've never done a book. Everybody's constantly saying, you got to write a book, man. You got to write a book. There's got to be, tell us all about the mud wrestling backstage and all this nonsense. And like on one of my early videos, I talked about a family that I met in Glasgow, heading to Ireland. And to me, that's probably that's the kind of road stories I live for, is these really positive, uplifting things, because you wake up, take your first breath, and look around the world. There is so much negativity to deal with. And that's not the world I want to live in. It's a world I face every day, but it's not the world I really want to live in. So I'm not going to be posting about, oh, this guy, man, I saw him doing like tons of blow and then he like fell off the stage. And, that stuff is just nonsense and that's just crap. And that's not going to be here. So if that's what somebody's hoping for, then this is the wrong site for you. So enough of that. I'm not going to address this issue ever again on here. This is my final video on this subject. Right now, I'm going to post this, and then I'm going to go visit a really great song we did with Rita Coolidge that Booker T from Booker T and the MGs played organ on and arranged. And it's a really sweet, fun tune. So I'm gonna get back into music, and that's where I'm staying. And for those of you coming to the clubhouse now that we've kind of got this started for next week, let's just have fun. If you have suggestions, tell me if there's things you want to talk about or would like me to address on there. I'll do my best to address it all. I've had people asking about, man, you got to do t-shirts and mugs and all that. And apparently, because I've had somebody, who knows this stuff is helping get it all working. And he said, oh yeah, that's no problem. I sent him a whole bunch of pictures and he said, look, if somebody orders a shirt, we get a shirt printed. I'm not going to sit here with 100 boxes of t-shirts in the house, but there'll be swag available. I got swag from practically everything I've ever done, and worked on. It's like having laminates. I've got the back of a door is covered with like thousands of laminates. And I love all that stuff. And I've got t-shirts from all kinds of different things. And people have, sent me mugs, and I've bought mugs for people and all. It's all fun. So, but really, I am so thrilled with everybody of the 99.9% that have come to this page, and I'm going to do my best to maintain a level of quality that people are responding to. It's a challenge, it's a lot of work, and I love it. So you guys take care, and I'll see you probably in the next video. And it'll be coming up right after this. So take care. Bye-bye.